Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this week's video, I'm doing a quick little sketch of a tree. So for this illustration, I was really wanting to try out some pencils that I have had for a while, and I've tried in the past, but I wanted to try them again because I haven't used them in quite a while, probably over a year now. So the pencils are called Graphitant pencils from Derwent, and they are basically water-soluble graphite, but they're tinted. So I have a set of 24 colors, and I just wanted to sort of try them out and see how I liked them, because it's been a very long time since I've used them. So I went with this reference of a tree that I found, and I thought it would be a nice simple little reference. So I started out with some browns for the tree and tried to get in really just a base tone with a few main shadows. Then I went in with a few different greens for the leaves. So I went in with a lighter yellowy tone for the highlights and some darker tones as well, hoping to give it a little bit of form once I blended it with water. So now here I'm going in with water and blending it all out. I wasn't quite sure how the colors would turn out because they look a little bit different once they're blended than they do dry, and they ended up a lot more saturated, but I still think they ended up looking good for what I was going for, and I kind of knew they would be a little bit more saturated. I think they were more saturated than I thought they'd be, but I still liked how they turned out. So I'm just blending everything out, and this is just a first layer, so I'm not being too precise about it, and I'm just really playing around and seeing how they blend, because again, it's been a very long time since I've used these. So now I figured while I let that dry, I would go in with the pencils in the foreground. The reference kind of had a path going up to the tree surrounded by rocks. So I went over with a different brown tone for the path to see how that one looked, and I went in with 2 tones of brown for the first layer on the rocks. Now blending everything out with water, and the brown that I used on the path was called Chestnut, and it was actually far more red than I expected. I knew it would be a little bit warmer than the ones I used on the tree, but it was far more red than I expected. And I also realized that when I blended it out, there was enough left on the brush that it could transfer elsewhere, so I put that around the edges as well. And now I'm blending the rocks also, and I really liked how the grays that I used turned out. And I'm also going in and adding light blue for the sky, and I'm trying to keep that really light because it was quite light in the reference. And so this is just my very base layer, kind of playing around with how the pencils feel and what the colors were going to be and how they were going to react once I put water on them. And so after this, I decided to go back in with another layer of these pencils just to kind of solidify some more form, because everything's looking a bit washed out at the moment. I also knew that I was planning on going in with some regular color pencils and pen at the end, so here I'm really just trying to focus on form and not too many details, because it's going to get all blended out with water anyway. So I'm going in with more shadow shapes in the foliage in the tree, and I'm also deepening the shadows on the rocks to give them a little bit more form as well. here, I'm going back over that path with some different browns, trying to tone down the red because I didn't want the path to look so red as it turned out with the first layer. And I'm blending over everything again, trying not to mix the colors too much because it does pick up a lot of the color from the page when I blended it out with water. And I'm also trying to be a little bit careful to keep the shadows, especially on the tree, kind of in place because the first time I overblended and they kind of got muddled all into one color. So I wanted to make sure the shadows I had stayed in one place, so I was more careful with how I was blending it here. Now I'm going in with my colored pencils, and I wanted to focus more on details with these because obviously I wouldn't be blending these out in any way because they're not water soluble. So I have some yellowier greens and some bluer greens just to make it more interesting. And now I'm going in and adding some more to the tree trunk. And as you can see here, the tips of these pencils kept breaking, and they are student grade pencils, and I actually got them from school a while ago. And I think some of them have the lead broken all the way through because I just can't seem to sharpen them and get them to keep any point for any amount of time. They already seem to be broken by the time I've sharpened them. So that's been a little annoying, but I was able to get most of what I wanted from these pencils except the ones that were continuously breaking. And I honestly was being a little bit messy with the pencils here. I think it was partially because I was a little frustrated with them breaking, and also because I didn't really care for it to be a super tight piece. Overall, I kind of like how it ended up turning out, kind of rough and stylized. But yeah, I was rushing a little bit with the colored pencils. So now I'm going in with a pen, and it's got like a flexible felt tip, and so I thought this could be a fun pen to try and bring everything together and add some more details and texture and sort of solidify the piece so it didn't look so washed out and kind of give outlines to everything. So I'm just going over outlining everything with this pen and adding a little bit of hatching to give some texture and form. And I really think the pen brought this piece together and gave it a very illustrative look. The combination of the textured mediums and the solid black pen, I think, ended up looking really nice. And I like the children's book sort of aesthetic that I feel like it gave it at the end. adding some brush pen for some bolder marks, and I use this mostly in the leaves of the tree. So overall, I did enjoy using the graphic pencils, but I do think I need more practice with them because I find them quite hard to control, and I also find them difficult to use because I struggle to layer white over the top. The white colored pencils I had and the white pen that I'm using at the end didn't really seem to go over the top very well, so I'll have to find a different solution for that. Maybe white paint I would try in the future. But overall, I think it's a medium I want to try to experiment with more. Overall, I really like the illustrative style that the end piece came out with, and overall it's just a really loose piece and I had fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.